All right, you guys, next episode of Spiritual Practices. Today we're going to be talking about fasting. Beautiful spiritual practice. I like to divide fasting in sort of a three categories. So we're going to have water fast, which is a fast where you only drink water. Obviously, we're going to have more of a classic fast where you don't consume any foods, but in addition to water, you drink teas, herbal teas, and those kind of things. Some people also drink coffee, obviously with no milk and sugar, but they do drink coffee. And we're gonna have a juice fast, which is a fast where you don't consume any solid foods, but in addition to that water, you also drink fresh juices, fruits and vegetables. So, to who this practice is for, this is one of the practices that, in my belief, is for more of an advanced. It's more of an advanced practice, especially if we're talking about prolonged fasting, and I'm going to explain in a moment on the why. So, when we talk about short fasting, which in my mind would be anywhere from 1 to 3 days. That is something that anyone can do. My belief is that it's a beautiful practice that whoever is doing any kind of self work, improvement work, conquering your mind, conquering your body, understanding yourself, human nature, and this world a little bit better. Especially, we'll talk about this in a moment when we'll talk about the benefits, especially the conditioning of this world. Fasting is a beautiful thing, and 1 to 3 days. So, whether you go for 1 day, 24 hours, or 2 days, or 3 days, it's a beautiful practice that anyone can do. It doesn't require much preparation, let's face it. Anyone can go on without eating one full day. Sometimes it happens that in moments of stress or in moments when we're very busy and overwhelmed with something, we do this unknowingly. So the only difference would be that obviously fast is intentional, and we'll talk about this in a moment. However, when we talk about prolonged fast, so we're going to be talking about anywhere above 5 days. So it can be 5 days, it can be a week, you can do 2 weeks. There are people that practice fasting periodically for even extended and more prolonged period of time. So I would say that above 2 weeks would be a very much pro and very much prolonged period of time. So, a couple of things to consider. That is definitely something that requires preparation, not only on the level of your body, but also on the level of your mind. So, sort of prepare yourself mentally for doing such a thing. I would definitely recommend consulting with a trusted doctor, so you can just do a bit of a body exam to make sure that everything is on point and you have a clearance from your physician to do a prolonged fast. And when we talk about those prolonged fasting, I would highly recommend your spiritual readiness and having an intention. Fasting is not something that we do just because for fun to test myself. It's not something, my belief, it's not something that we do to lose weight, God forbid, okay? This is a purely spiritual practice when we talk about prolonged fast. So before you consider doing that, think yourself, what is it I'm really wanting to achieve here? What is it that I really want to break through when it comes to limitations of my body and my mind with this practice? And I recommend for prolonged fast having an actual intention that will keep you motivated and that will sort of direct your energy. Fasting is a beautiful practice that puts our body, physical body and energy body, in a specific state, in a very powerful state. So we can actually create a very powerful energy that can be directed to a specific intention, whether that's intention for yourself or beautifully for this world, or for another person. So it's something to keep in mind. Now asking about the why. What's the benefit? Why do we do that? Why do we fast? First thing is one of the reasons, and a beautiful reason, and as I mentioned, intention. It's a bit of an obvious reason. It's a sacrifice. So we give a little bit of that sacrifice of our body, because it ain't easy, to source, to the universe. It's a bit of that, one of these spiritual practices that we do. Universe, if you help me in this is what I give to you as my sacrifice, as my gift to you. If you have a specific wish, intention, like I said, for yourself or for this world. Obviously, we're talking about beautiful spiritual intentions, not I want a new car, right? But you would know what I mean. But that's one of the reasons, to give something from ourselves. Another reason, and a beautiful one, is to clear and reset your physical body and your mind. I myself done fasting a good couple of times, including prolonged fasting, and it's an incredible experience that clears your mind in a way that I don't think you could ever imagine if you've never went through this. So a prolonged fasting, we talk about 5 days plus, you reach a point when obviously there are stages, right? But it's a bit of a, if you struggle with gratitude, if you struggle with specific things that you cannot clear out of your mind, that will definitely help. Because believe me or not, after a specific day, we all going to have a different breaking point. But after a specific day, all you can think about is food. All your problems disappear. All your longings disappear. All the things that you think that you want and you don't have disappear. All you want is a proper bowl of soup. And you are so grateful for being alive, for functioning, for having a healthy body. So it clears your mind. And obviously it also clears your body. We live in a world when it's so difficult to follow a healthy diet to a very, very, very core. It's challenging to only reach for healthy, organic, local, available wherever you are, the food of the land. So I believe it's just so beautiful to clear your body, to wash out all the toxins and all the negative energy as well. Like I always highlight to you guys, everything that we allow in our energy, allow in our body, everything that we consume, from foods to music to people to thoughts, it creates an energy that sticks to our energy body. So it's a beautiful practice to flush everything out. I've mentioned this already, to sort of a meaning of life, kind of a benefit. It helps with humility, it helps with grounding, it helps with really realizing how beautiful this experience of life is. So if you also struggle with, if you're in a place of your life, or generically you have a mindset that you struggle to appreciate the little things in life, like just be happy and joyful because you have a beautiful breakfast that you can eat, or a wonderful dinner that you can enjoy in the comfort of your home. That's a practice that will definitely help you with that. An amazing benefit is that it helps to sort of conquer your body and to understand, as you go through fasting, if you have a poor relationship with food, so if you're someone that you are on a spiritual journey, but one of the things that you've been struggling with, for example, is reaching for foods that are not beneficial for you, or maybe binge eating, or maybe some sort of a, eating disorder. Obviously, you would have to handle that first and clear out with your doctor. But once you want to understand that within yourself, where it came from, what was causing it, it's a beautiful thing to really understand and conquer your body. Because as you're fasting, you're realizing how much of the challenge of the fast will actually not be challenge of your body, but will So people who've never done prolonged fasting, they tend to think that you must be starving, you must be wanting to eat so much, you must be having, like, sometimes when we're hungry because you skip a regular meal, you sort of feel that feeling in your stomach and in your body, it's making sounds, right? And you feel like you're almost nauseous because you want to eat. Surprisingly, it's not just my experience from all of the fasts that I've done, but also people I spoke to who are practicing fast. You don't really experience that feeling a lot. Obviously, here and there, you feel physical hunger, but on a ongoing basis, 24/7 kind of a basis, it's more a mental thing. Obviously, your body, with a prolonged fast, it lowers on energy, it lowers on strength, right? So it's something that you as well have to consider, that you may not be able to do certain activities that you normally do, because you're going to get weaker, and you're going to need more rest and more not really sleep, because you can struggle with sleeping as you're fasting, but it's going to be more mental. Your mind will be something that you will need to conquer more than your body. Our body is wise, our body adjusts, our body understands, especially if you have that intention, if you prepare spiritually, if you set that intention, if you connect to your body that this is what we're going to be doing, your body will collaborate. It's the mind, as always, it's the damn monkey mind that we cannot conquer. It's the biggest thing that we have to conquer on a journey of spirituality. This is also why, if that's something that you struggle with, I would definitely recommend this practice. And in the same time as you're conquering your mind, you're removing the conditioning. I've mentioned this briefly before, because you start to realize how many lies we're being fed with by the matrix, that we have to. And it's really not true. All these roles that they're constantly inventing, how we should eat, when we should eat, those pyramids, that they're constantly changing these things, right? It's really not my belief, right? I'm going to put a disclaimer on this video because these things tend to, but my belief, it's manipulation. What they want us to buy, how they want us to live our lives, and it's really not true. Your body needs so much less than you're actually offering to your body. And as you fast, you're realizing how much of the nonsense that we're fed with around foods and what we need to eat and how we need to eat is just not true. And you also realizing how much more we eat than we actually need. And as you're returning to normality, as you're breaking the fast, you also start to realize how what is actually the proper healthy diet that your body would need to survive, to thrive, to be strong, to be healthy, and how much of it is going to be additional, something that you no longer need. Either is not good for your body, or it's just overconsumption. I think that for most people, at minimum 30%, and for some so much more, that we could be cutting out of our diet. If you are interested in fasting, the last fast that I've done was a 2 weeks 14 days fast in August. I've done a video about this on YouTube. It's not available on TikTok, it's available on YouTube. So if you go to my YouTube, you can either search for it, the 14-day fast, I think it was called, or you can just scroll to August. And around August dates, August, September, this is where I posted it. And I've explained everything. How did I prepare? The phases that I was going through, what I was struggling with, what were the benefits, how I returned to normality. Every time I do fast, it changes me and it changes how I look at food, how I eat, and my eating habits completely. Every time I do it, I get out of the other end as a better person when we talk about foods and approach to foods. So if that's something that you struggle with, give it a thought. Make sure that you do your research, or if you work with a spiritual teacher or someone, not necessarily a spiritual teacher, someone who's done it, have a little conversation with this person to prepare. Watch some videos like mine. There's surely more videos of people who've done fasting and shared their experience. It is something that is, like I said, for advanced people, and it is something that requires a little bit of preparation and intention, clear intention. Also, obviously, if you're going to be doing this for a prolonged period of time, so from like a week or two, you need to consider that you're not going to have the same levels of energy. So you need to make sure that if you're going to be water fasting, if you decide to drink mineral water, which is recommendable, I've mentioned this in that video as well, make sure you buy this water for yourself and have it, because I remember that the last days of fasting, when I ran out of my water, literally going down to the store that is in front of the gate of my apartment. It was like Mount Everest. It was like Mount Everest, returning with that water, with those bottles of water up to my apartment. It was Mount Everest. Okay, so keep these things in consideration. It's something that requires physical, mental, soul level preparation, but it's a beautiful practice, and I think anyone at least one time should try those, even if it's just 1 to 3 days. All right, I hope this was helpful, and I will see you in our next episodes.